Happy day all. Today we are going to look into the topic corporate wheel, followed by the cases related to it, and then we'll move on to lifting of corporate wheel, where we'll also see the circumstances of lifting of corporate wheel along with the case studies. Let us move into the first topic of today's session, corporate wheel. If you look into the slide, it says a company is a legal person from its entity. Now, what does that mean? If you check into the characteristic of a company, it says separate legal entity. We have to connect separate legal entity with corporate wheel. That is, the owner is different from the business. Now, with this concept, we also have some advantages. The liability of an individual will not affect the other. That is, the company's liability nor the owner's liability will affect each other. It is vice versa. Now, the second point says the owner's debts or obligation or other obligation will not influence the company. That is what was discussed in the first point. Now, finally, what can we conclude from the topic corporate wheel? That the owners are different from the business. Let us move into a case study on this topic. Salomon versus Salomon. Here, Salomon is a person who started a sole proprietorship. He had a leather business. After a point of time, he wanted to extend his business, bring in debentures and shares into the company. For that, he had to bring in more members to the company. For this purpose, he has brought his family, his wife and 3 sons to the company and made them as a whole members. Now later, at a point of time when the company needs fund, he started investing his own money, his personal money into the business in the name of a debenture. Now we all know the topic of debenture. A debenture holder is not the owner of the company. So at the time of liquidation, when you have to repay the funds, now you have to pay the outsiders. We also know what is a secured loan, right? So we have to first pay the outsiders and then pay the owners of the company. As expected, the company also went into bankruptcy over a point of time. So when it comes to bankruptcy, we have to liquidate its statements. So while liquidating, we all know the first person we'll be paying is an outsider and not the owner of the company. In this case, Solomon had invested, but he is the owner. He had invested in the name of a debenture, in the name of a debenture holder. So here we have to check to validate his statement, to defend his side. He is bringing the concept of corporate wheel. Now under the concept of corporate wheel, as we already discussed, the owner is different from the business. He is claiming that I am different from the business. So when I invest some money in the company and when the company is about to liquidate, I am the one who is supposed to be getting the money. This is what is explained, and with this concept, the court of law is also accepting, and finally he gets the money first, then the outsiders. Basically he is claiming that his part of investment is again a secured loan. So that is why we say company is different from business as an advantage. Now, if you say that it is always an advantage, definitely no. It is not. It does not have an iron shield on the owner's liability or the company's liability. Let us see the circumstances where you have to lift the corporate wheel. Before moving into the circumstances, let us first understand what is lifting of corporate wheel. As we all know, the topic corporate wheel is guarding the owner and the business. Under lifting of corporate wheel, it is not so. Here, the owner and the company is same. Let us move into the topic lifting of corporate wheel. Under this topic, the owner and the business is one and the same. Now, there is a reason why we have to lift this corporate wheel, because as I said, it has an advantage under a corporate wheel. Now, let us see what are the different cases that comes under lifting of corporate wheel. The first one is breach of contract. Under breach of contract, we have 2 subdivisions, protection of revenue and prevention of fraud. Protection of revenue, we have evasion of tax, avoidance of tax and ignorance of tax. Now, there is a difference between the term tax planning and tax ignorance. Now, tax planning is a smarter way of finding techniques where you can avoid tax or you can pay a lesser tax to the government. But under the topic tax evasion or tax ignorance, you are intentionally ignoring to pay tax. Now, this is a problem. Now, when a court or any other company that finds that this person, this owner or the company is moving towards tax evasion or tax ignorance, now the court will order to lift the corporate wheel. What happens when you lift the corporate wheel? The owner and the business comes together. So, the owner will have a fear of bearing all the liabilities that is imposed on the company. This is the first reason. The second case is prevention of fraud. This is again a relation of the first topic. Under the topic prevention of fraud, we have if there is any illegal business or misusing of financial reports, something like that, then what happens? You intentionally come into an act of fraud. Now this again causes a problem to the welfare or the industry. Now to avoid such situation, the court will again lift the corporate wheel to make sure the owner and the business is together. We have a case study which relates to this topic, lifting of corporate wheel. The case study is again a famous one. It is Guilford Motor Company versus Horn. Now, Horn is an ex-employee of Guilford Motor Company. Now, this Guilford Motor Company is an automobile company which trained Horn. Horn, while entering into the company, he didn't know the business at all. After getting trained from his owner, he then planned to move out of the business and create a similar business or an same automobile business in a nearby locality. When the ex-employee Horn was informing the owner of this motor company, the owner said, we cannot do that way. I am not asking you to stop doing the same business. You can still do the same business, but not in the same locality. For this, I might even pay a compensation for you to avoid doing that. So they came into a particular contract and they had an agreement saying, Horn will also continue with an automobile business, but not in the same locality. But finally, Horn did not obey this agreement. He went anyhow, he started, starting the business in the next street or in the nearby locality itself. There might be a situation where the customers of Guilford Motor Company might be influenced by Horn or his services. So this will have an impact on Guilford Motors' sale. So because of this, they came, Guilford is suing on Horn for the same, and in the court of law, Horn is saying, yes, I started the same company. There is no such rule that I should not start a same company. But for defending Guilford's side, he is saying, for this particular reason, we came into a contract where I also gave a compensation on the same and asked Horn not to start the business in the same locality because it will affect my sales. To defend Horn's side, he is again introducing the topic of corporate wheel. He is saying the owner is different from the business, so I did not open in the near locality. It was the business which started. So I am different. I am not liable for what the company is doing. Now in this case, the court of law is coming to an agreement that the intention of Horn is wrong. He is only misusing the agreement. So they are lifting the corporate wheel and saying, no, it was done intentionally. It is still the same that the entity and the owner are together. We cannot use the concept of corporate wheel. In this particular situation, they are using lifting of corporate wheel. We are also going to see the other circumstances where we are going to use the same, that is lifting of corporate wheel. The first one is determination of character of a company. How do you determine the character? Whether it is an enemy company or it is an resident company, how do you say that? Let us go for an example. In India, we have many companies, many foreign brands that still has a market in our country. Like let's say in mobile phone, we have Samsung, we have Realme, we have so many, we have iPhone. All these brands are from a different country, but still they have a very major role in our market. Now, it is somebody else he is not a resident of India, but still owning a business in India, but it is still successful, and you can call it you can market that product in India. But when do you characterize the company? When there is a war between the countries. Let's say the owner of iPhone is from Japan and we have a war between India and Japan. In this situation, iPhone will not be marketed in India. Again, here the brand will be considered as a different, it will be considered as an enemy brand. Okay, so that is the reason we will not market. But right before the war, we are still in friends with Japan. That time it was okay for iPhone company to sell the products in India. But now it is no more okay because we are at war with Japan. This is the small example for this point. That is what it says, determination of a character of a company, ascertaining its enemy quality, whether it is an enemy or not. The next point is where a company is a sham. That is, the purpose of opening a company is different from what it is actually doing. Probably you created a company for, producing a product, let's say a mobile phone again. Okay, you started a company to produce a mobile phone, but let's say you're doing something illegal, okay, or something for the benefit of the owner or the shareholders or the members of the company. So basically, under this point, we are going to cover that the intention of the company, the intention for opening the company was different, but what actually they're doing was different. Okay, that is what is covered under the point where a company is sham. Now, in this situation, once the court comes to know that the intention was different, but what they are actually doing is different, now they lift the corporate wheel and say the owner and the business is same, and whatever liability that they have forced on the business will also be borne by the owners of the company. The next point is when a company avoids legal obligations. The simple example of legal obligation is tax. We pay according to the income of the business, right? So under this concept, if the company is trying to avoid tax or ignore tax, no, I'm not talking about tax planning, I'm talking about tax ignorance. In this situation, again, if the court comes to note that they are intentionally doing a mistake, intentionally avoiding tax, in this situation, again, the corporate wheel will be lifted and what does it mean? It means that the owner and the business is this one and the same, and the owner has to bear the income tax that is to be paid. The next point is where a company acts as an agent or trustee for its shareholders. Now, generally, with the corporate wheel concept, we understood that the owner and the business, two different entities, it is not the same, right? But under this, when a company acts as a trustee or an agent, it might intentionally help the shareholder at some point of time. Because of this, there might be a lot of misleading or misusage of the company's activities. Now, once the court of law comes to know about this such situation, it will lift the corporate wheel and make sure that the owner and the business is one and the same, and the liabilities of each other will be borne by the company as well as the owner. The next point is avoidance of welfare legislation. Under this topic, let us see what are the examples of welfare legislation and then see what is avoidance of it. Under this topic, the main example is that the company will employ blind people, people with disability, taking care of the medical expenses of the dependents of the employee. All that will be covered under welfare legislation. Now, if the company is avoiding all these terms, if the company is not having any social responsibility, and when the court of law comes to know that these are not being followed, now it will lift the corporate wheel and make sure that the owner is responsible for the business activity. The next point is protecting public policy. Now, generally, public policies are made only when there is a situation that has happened earlier. From that, we have some learnings and then we make a policy for it so that it should not repeat after that. Now, when there is an ignorance of this public policy, definitely government will not accept this, right? So, when it comes to know that the court of law comes to know that a particular company is not following a proper public policy, again it will lift the corporate wheel and make sure that the owner is liable for what the business does. In today's session, we saw what is corporate wheel, cases related to it, lifting of corporate wheel and cases related to the same. I hope everything was clear in today's session. Thank you for listening.